Real fan. All right, Shalom. This is the brother from GMS New Orleans coming back at you with another live lesson. As always, we'll give all praise, glory, and finality to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahweh Shah, Bashem, Kakadash. Double honors once again to the apostles. Peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect out there. All right, I'm checking the feed real fast. I don't know why it's taking so long. Okay. Yeah, I'm on. So yeah, I was putting together a lesson. I named this one the last of its kind, right? Going into the ICBM nuclear missiles, because once these ICBM nuclear missiles, all right, are able to be used, it's going to be the last of its kind, all right? Because like a lot of times on the highways and byways, we get into the destruction, very different other topics of the destruction. Brothers go into that these missiles are going to be like no other, all right? The weapons are weapons, all right? And once they're being used, that's gonna be end of it, all right? And these nations around the world are gonna use most of their missiles on America, other nations, and this whore America is gonna let off her missiles too on other nations, man. So it's gonna be a full onslaught of destruction. All right. And I wanted to get into a couple of scriptures, but mainly Revelations, the 8th chapter, a couple of verses within that. All right, I got some other precepts and play, but I wanted to also, like I said, put that out there. But I'm gonna get straight to it. This is Revelations chapter 8. All right, and 7. Well, I'm at Revelations chapter 8, verse 7. This is 8. All right. It says, and the first angel sounded, and there followed hail and fire mingled with blood. All right, and there were cast upon the earth, and the third part of trees was burned up, and the grass and the green grass was burned up. All right, that's ultimately going into the destruction. Only one thing that can bring that, all right, in these times, all right, which is going to be brought by the ICBM nuclear missiles. All right, I got another scripture to go with this, but I'm gonna read a little bit more. It says, and the second angel sounded, and as it were, a great mountain burning with fire was cast into the sea, and the third part of the sea became blood. All right, and that great mountain right there ultimately goes into America, right? Because you got, like apostles always have taught, you have hills and you have mountains. You have little hills and you have mountains, which goes into governments. All right, and in this particular place is a large government. All right, it's likened unto a large government. All right, and it's ultimately this is the place. This is that a great mountain that's going to burn. All right, but I wanted to go back up. I missed something. Yeah, verse 7. Now, what verse 7 reminds me of, and show you that these scriptures are like puzzle pieces. You got to put them all together so that that things make sense. And it says about it says in the third part of the trees were burned up, and all the green grass was burned. And that brings me to Joel, the second chapter. All right, let me get it. Joel 2:2, and I'm gonna read verse 3. It says, and I'll read 1. It says, blow ye the trumpet in Zion, sound the alarms in my holy mountain, let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord cometh, for it is nigh at hand, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness. All right, it says, as the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and a strong. All right, and it's likening to the missiles as a great people. All right, and are strong, and there has not been ever the like. All right, and that goes into the title of the video. All right, there has never been neither the like, neither shall they be, neither shall be any more after. All right, so this is the weapons of weapons. All right, and once they be used, it's gonna be no more. Once we get into the kingdom, it's gonna be no use to have nuclear missiles. It's gonna be no use to have jets and tanks and weaponry. All right, the Lord Yahweh Shem is gonna make us the weapon, man. That's why he said, "Thou art axe, my weapons of war." With us, the Lord's gonna break. He gonna use us to break nations, man. All right, and the Lord's gonna do that. All right, so there's gonna be no need for Esau's weaponry on earth. All right, but this weapon that he has is gonna be the last of its kind. All right, like the title of the video says. All right, let me read that part again. It says, "A great people and a strong, there has not been neither the like, neither shall be any more after it, even to years of many generations." All right, and it says, "And their fire devoured before them." All right, and which goes into the warheads. All right, the warheads are in the point or the tip of those missiles. All right, and then in one missile can have hundreds of nukes or warheads in it, man. And it says, "A fire devoured before them, and behind them a flame burning," which goes into the rocket booster, which propels it from continent to continent. All right, the land is as a garden of Eden, because that's what the scripture says in the Revelation right here. All right, the same thing about the greenery, the vegetation and grass. All right, and the grass in the third part of the grass was burned up, and all the green grass was burned up. All right, which same thing right here. The land is as the garden of Eden, before them and behind them a desolate wilderness. So after those missiles be used, these places that have green grass and I'm gonna say this too. I'm gonna get the scripture. All this shit that you see before us, somewhere in some places, brothers have lakes. You have streams, mountains. You have forests and all this stuff that's in America. All this shit gonna be burned up, man. All right, once those missiles be used and detonated here up on America, all right. It says, and behind them a desolate wilderness, yea, and nothing shall escape them. And that brings me to this scripture right here. All right. Now I come back to this Revelations, but it brings me to this scripture. All right, to back up what I'm saying. This is Isaiah chapter 34, verse 8. It's for in it, Isaiah 34 and 8, it says, "For it is the day of the Lord's vengeance, in the year of his recompense, for the controversy of Zion, and the streams thereof shall be turned into pitch." You see? And the dust thereof unto the brimstone, and the land thereof shall become burning pitch. And it should not be quenched day nor night. The smoke thereof shall go up forever, from generation to generation. It shall lay waste. None, it says, none shall pass through it. All right, for neither, neither forever and ever. All right, it says but the cormorant and the bittern shall possess it, and the owls also and the raven shall dwell in it, and it shall stretch out upon it the line of confusion. All right, and the stones of emptiness. All right, so once those missiles be used, all right, you're not gonna know which state was which state. All right, it's gonna become a den for different animals, man. Which there's countless numbers of scriptures that goes into that to tell you how after the destruction, how America's gonna look. All right, how they're gonna have owls, ravens. I think it even says dragons. All right, all type of wild creatures are gonna live in these buildings and this. They're gonna dwell here, but man is not gonna dwell here in America. All right, after the destruction, that's what goes into Revelation 8. after this horrible star, all right, or that wormwood be dropped. It's not, it's nobody gonna dwell here, man. All right. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back to Revelations. Where am I at? I believe I stopped right here. All right, I'm gonna read 8. It says, "And the second angel sounded, and as it were a great mountain burning." All right, which I said what that great mountain was. Where fire was cast into the sea, and the third part of the sea became blood, and the third part of the creatures which was in the sea and had life died, and the third part of the ships were destroyed. All because of what? All right, we about to get into it. Verse 10. And the third angel sounded, and there fell a great star from heaven. All right, burning as it were a lamp, which that great star that fell from heaven, that burning as a lamp, is a new ICBM nuclear missile. It's going to fall upon America, and not just one, because right here it's saying a great star. It's going to be many great stars. All right, many missiles that's going to fall upon America. All right, and it goes on to say, and it fell upon the third part of the rivers and upon the foundations of the waters. All right, and the name of that star is called Wormwood. All right, and because ultimately this star Wormwood is going to bring, because when you look up Wormwood, it ultimately goes into like a bit of destruction. All right, and the third part of the waters became wormwood, and many men died of the waters because they were made bitter. All right, and it's all out. It's gonna just sweep America through, man. All right, and that scripture here reminds me of this particular scripture. All right, which brothers goes into this every now and then. Let me see. It's the second Esdras. Yep. Should be right here. Second Esdras chapter 15. Second Esdras chapter 15 and 38. It says, and it shall come, and it shall, my bad, wrong one. Yeah, second Esdras 15 and 38. And then shall there come a great storm from the south and from the north, and another part from the west, and the strong winds shall arise from the east, and shall open it. In the cloud which is in the cloud which he raised up in wrath, and the star stirred up to cause fear towards the east and west wind shall be destroyed. All right, this is the point right here. The great and mighty cloud shall be puffed up full of wrath, and the star that they may make all the earth afraid. All right. And whenever you seen a star make the earth afraid, or people on the earth afraid, this star is a particular. Well, I said the star goes into the nuclear missile, all right, and them that dwell therein, and they shall pour out on over every high and eminent place an horrible star, all right, and that horrible star goes into the ICBM nuclear missile that's going to decimate, all right, it's going to blow this place to kingdom come, as they say. All right. This is that horrible star. This is that same star that goes into the wormwood, that great star. All right. It's going to fall upon Babylon the Great. All right. And burn her with fire. And as you see, these nations are gathered and mounting up against America. All right. To do it. All right. Which brings me to Jeremiah, the 50th chapter. The 50th chapter. That's kind of lengthy. All right. I want to get the points though. I read it right here. This is Revelation. No, my bad. Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 9 says, "For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country." All right. And they shall set themselves array against her. All right. For then shall she be taken. Her arrow shall be as mighty. My bad. Her arrow shall be as of a mighty expert man. None shall return. None shall return in vain. All right. And those arrows goes into the missiles. That's another AKA, another code word for the missiles in the Bible. All right. Because like we always say, including our apostles, all right, these different men that you read about, Jeremiah, Isaiah, all right, John the Revelator, the list goes on. These men in their time, all right, were given visions. They were given they were put in trances and dreams to tell about these times that we're living in. And at their time, the only thing they can describe, or the closest thing that they can describe of our time, like case in point, the ICBM nuclear missile. When you look at it, you can see it on the back screen behind me. All right, the nuclear missile looks like an arrow, man. So that's why, even right here, Jeremiah mentioned it being as an arrow, and it says it's gonna be like a mighty expert man. All right, these missiles are gonna hit their mark. A lot of them gonna have GPS capabilities. All right, and they're gonna do some hurt. All right, and it goes on to say, verse 10, and the Chaldeans should be spoiled. All that spoil should be satisfied, said the Lord. All right. It said because ye were glad, because ye rejoice, O destroyers of my heritage, because ye are grown fat as the heifer at grass in the bulls of bulls. I want to go. Okay, I'm getting close to it. It says, your mother shall be sore or confounded. She that bare you shall be ashamed. Behold, the hindermost parts of the nations shall be a wilderness, a dry land, and a desert. Because of the wrath of the Lord, it shall not be inhabited, which I said earlier. But it shall be hollow, desolate. Everyone that goeth by Babylon shall be astonished and hiss at her plagues. All right, because America is going to be made a burning memorial. All right, for generation after generation. once the destruction's over with. All right, and many people they're gonna do that. All right, they're gonna be astonished of what happened into this place. All right, from the Lord's wrath. All right, verse 14 says, "Put yourselves in array against Babylon round about, all ye that bend the bow." Basically meaning all you that have nuclear capabilities. All right, and that's what the nations are doing now. They're gathering. All right, they gathering themselves around about America. All right, they're in place to come up against her, man. That's why you're seeing all type of conflict around the world. All right, now you're getting one of the major characters into it too, NATO. All right, what his name is, DJ Donald Trump. He's pissing NATO off. He's pissing other nations off, even his own allies. All right, and that's what you're getting ready to see. These nations gathered around America to basically burn this whore, man. And that's why I said put yourselves in array against Babylon. All right, round about all ye that bend the bow, all you that have nuclear capabilities. All right, and it says shoot at her, spare no arrows. Use all of the nukes that you got. Don't spare none of them, man. Shoot them all, for she has sinned against the Lord. All right, and like I said, that's why I named the video what I named it. All right, the last of its kind. Because once these missiles be dropped and used on America, that's gonna be it, man. All right, goodbye Esau. All right, all these times. All right, this wickedness is gonna be put to rest. All right. And then what's finna happen, the Lord's gonna set up his people, all right, starting with the elect of the nation of Israel. The Lord's gonna set us up to be what? Kings, rulers, and priests, man. All right, and we're gonna rule in righteousness. That's why I says it's not gonna be any need for missiles. All right, it's not gonna be any need for guns and all this other shit that Esau comes with. All right, his blessing, our blessing is gonna be all the above, man. All right, we're gonna be the weapons. All right, we're gonna be everything that the Lord has promised us. All right, all the promises and the blessings that we was gonna get, we're gonna get them, man. All right, and we're gonna put this known world in subjection. Even the other nations, they're gonna be put down, all right, under our foot, man. And that's what we're waiting on. We're waiting on all hell to break loose so we can get our chance to be in the rulership seat. Okay. So with that, I'm gonna end it right here. It was quick, to the point, man. Salaki, if I was kind of all over the place, all right. But with that, I'm gonna give all praise, glory, and the finality to Yahweh, by Shem, Yahweh, Shabbat, Shem, Kakadash. Once again, double honor to the elders, apostles of Great Millstone. Peace, blessing, and salutations again to the whole elect. Until next time, Shalom.